Hello and welcome to this week's Hippie Hyena. Now, I saw recently our good friend at Liberty Hangout, Caitlin Bennett, has released a video called Love and Unity. And I thought, what could be more on brand for a hippie hyena such as myself than to take a look at something titled Love and Unity. So let's jump in and see exactly what kind of love and what kind of unity Caitlin Bennett might be sharing.
Your hatred ruins your beauty.
He should have been impeached?
Absolutely.
Why?
I mean, if you have to ask, you probably won't understand the answer. The reason he should have been impeached is because that's the only way to curtail the behaviour of a president. And if you're not going to impeach Trump for what he did, what on earth are you going to impeach anyone for? I mean, Jesus Christ. You might as well just say that presidents are sort of emperors and above beyond the law, you know, which actually would probably suit Liberty Hangout quite well, because as far as I understand it, they've made the switch from calling themselves libertarians to being monarchists now, which is pretty f***ing hilarious. But that's the interesting thing about monarchies, is that they were pro-monarchy when Trump was president, but I don't know how they'd feel about it if Biden was crowned king. And that's the thing about monarchies, you don't get to choose who the king is and change them if you don't like them.
So it doesn't matter, because you obviously don't listen to anything anybody says, or you're very, what's the words I'm looking for? Svenska.
Beautiful.
Not really. You don't really do it for me. That kind of blank-faced Aryan aesthetic kind of doesn't really do it for me. But, you know, sure, there are some people who have very simple tastes who may find you attractive, whatever. But no, the word I would use to describe you isn't beautiful. It's hateful, ignorant, dangerous, pathetic, maybe, simpering, bootlicking, opportunistic.
Please?
I know who you are. Get
I know who
away from me. No.
Unity, right?
You're Nazi Barbie.
What are you talking about?
You're Nazi Barbie.
Well, half of that is a compliment, I have to say.
Yeah, but she didn't specify which half of Nazi Barbie was the compliment. I think neither are a compliment. But I kind of feel like Caitlin Bennett thinks one of those is a compliment and the other one is just secretly factually accurate.
What about Unity?
You and your other friend.
Who?
Nazi Barbie. I know you. You your pants.
What is this about Unity?
What is this about you shitting your pants? I mean, that's the thing we all really are interested in. Yes, this is Caitlin Bennett, who's allegedly a person who shat her pants at a party, in much the same way that O.J. Simpson allegedly murdered somebody, or that the sky is allegedly blue. Now, I could just watch this all day. Caitlin Bennett getting owned on the street by strangers. What's funny is that, you know, I feel like Caitlin Bennett's editors must hate her, because other people like Steven Crowder, his editors know to edit out when he's getting owned, which is probably, I'd guess, like 90% of the footage they gather. Whereas I feel like Caitlin Bennett's editors just leave some of that shit in for giggles, you know, take the piss out of her. Bet she's a horrible boss. My God.
What is this about Unity?
What's this about you shitting your pants?
Do you think that strives unity in our country?
Yeah, we're on the good side.
What's that?
On his side.
Why isn't this unifying? Why aren't you trying to unite the country?
He lost, poopy pants.
All right.
They're going to be bitter whether they win or lose.
I mean,
Except that guy is having a whale of a time. Doesn't seem bitter to me. To be honest, it's kind of you guys that seem like you're bitter, in the sense that, you know, it seems like, how many days since you guys lost, is it? And how long have you been not accepting that you've lost? Because you're massively, massively bitter about it?
and he's talking about poop.
They're always going to be bitter.
Always.
Always.
Now he's trying to harass your wife.
Not my wife, but...
Okay, sorry.
We're not
She
opposed
says
to Trump
yes.
at all. Yeah.
Okay, well good deal. Did you guys vote for Donald Trump too? Oh my God, everybody, I have found maybe 5 Joe Biden. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. What is going on?
Yeah, because most of the people who didn't vote for Trump are intelligent enough to stay at home during a global pandemic with a ridiculous death rate.
Tell me you didn't. That's just a joke, right? You didn't vote for Trump.
No, yes I did. Why? What's wrong with that?
Oh, I could be here all day with it.
Yeah, so could I. Why don't you ask me something?
Essentially a traitor, treasonous president.
What did he do?
Instigated insurrection. But I'm
What
going
are you
to stop there.
talking?
No,
Why don't you just ask me something instead of hurling these things at me? Why not have a conversation?
Because to be quite frank, Caitlin, there's not very much that's worth asking you. And, you know, your sense of political philosophy feels like it's been written by a moron with crayons, you know. It's not very difficult to understand. You can understand it in about 10 seconds. You're just basically wrong about everything. That's all it is, you know. And if you know someone's going to be wrong about everything, why ask them anything? Quite apart from that, most of what you say, you don't believe either. You're saying it because you're using it as an excuse to do something else awful. There's literally no point in engaging in a dialogue with someone like you, Caitlin. We know everything that you're going to say. Nothing's surprising. Nothing's clever. Everything's wrong. And everyone's worse off for having heard what you've got to say.
You had a wow reaction.
Yeah.
Why'd you say wow?
Because who cares?
Brilliant. Yeah, who cares, Caitlin? Stop causing a scene and go and do something productive with your time. Jeez, she's just getting owned left, right, and centre. This is a shame. This is a shame of her.
Just because, I mean, it's past. Why focus on the past, right?
I don't think so.
Somebody else did. We'll move forward.
Yeah, very, very good point. You know, Trump lost. It's over. Move the on.
Well, I didn't say impeach. I said something has happened.
You
That's
said
not
he should have.
leadership.
You said he deserved
Well,
to be
yeah,
impeached.
so, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, you weren't leader. And the fact that you actually said certain words that made somebody die, it's really pretty
Who?
bad.
Who died because of Trump's words?
You know.
No, I don't. I'm asking you.
Well, then why are you here with a mic if you don't know?
Well, I'm asking you. If you just accused Trump of killing someone, should you back that
I
up?
didn't. I said his words. He didn't.
Okay, but his
Whoever
words
the
say.
police was. Right?
Police?
Yeah, whoever did. I know there was a loss of life. I don't get in
Loss of life where?
at the Capitol.
To support my work directly, you can go to patreon.com/Caitlin.
Yeah, I didn't make that edit there myself. She just that is what you just saw. She, got explained to her yet again, obviously she already knows, about the cop and other people who lost their lives, but mainly the cop at this point, at the Capitol riots that Trump incited, their failed moron coup. And no answer for that, just pivoted straight for some advertising, because what could be more right-wing than having no answers to any legitimate questions and then pivoting to an advert? Absolutely shameless, absolutely shameless.
What's wrong? You guys okay?
I didn't understand why you said that at first.
You guys okay? There's another example of that unity that they want in this country.
Let's talk about unity for a moment. Now, Caitlin's brought it up, and it is in the title of her video. Unity is kind of a level of bollocks. Especially when you're dealing with a group of people whose literal agenda is to end unity. You can't unify with them, because that would, like, inevitably end unity. It's what's sometimes known as the tolerance paradox, which is an irritating turn of phrase to me as somebody who is interested in philosophy in a wider sense, because it's not a paradox. It's a fiddle of language that makes it look like a paradox. So basically, for those of you who don't know, the tolerance paradox is the idea that you have to be, if you're going to be tolerant, you have to be tolerant of intolerance, which will then end tolerance. But that's just nonsense. If you're tolerant, you cannot be tolerant of intolerance, because that means you're being intolerant. It's only a mess up with the words. It's not the actual things don't have that pattern. It's like saying to somebody, oh, you like it warm, so you must also like it not warm, because the phrase not warm has the word warm in it. It's like, no, they mean opposite things. This is a sort of linguistic trick which is used to trick people who don't understand the difference between language and what that language represents. So, unity. In order to have unity, in order to have real unity, we have to put an end to the culture that breeds people like Caitlin Bennett. We need to put an end to her opinions, not unify with them, because it's her opinions and her perspectives and her beliefs and her agendas which are the cause of the lack of unity. And there's also this kind of namby-pamby, centrist, liberal nonsense nonsense about unity. You'll notice that the so-called centrists, they flip between talking about unity and talking about but both sides. But both sides are bad sometimes, But you'll notice when they talk about the far right, they talk about unity, and when they talk about the left, they talk about, but both sides are bad. We need to be more centrist, because really centrists are just right-wing wolves in sheep's clothing. That's the truth of it. They're just kind of self-hating right-wingers, because when push comes to shove, they'd rather side with Nazis than with socialists. And sooner or later, that push is coming to shove.